Stand.
No standing because they can get.
Yeah.
Just
You need to sit.
Put it. No, we need to put a chair so they can
just
see
put two
between or
chairs.
something
Yeah, right here.
behind you.
And one there.
Guess what? We need tight, Reverend Pinder. If you could get behind him, because we kind of like just getting your shoulders. In between, so we can see you over their shoulders. Yes. Sit between them so we can see you over their shoulders. No, you guys in front of both. The queen, just sit center in front of that.
Good afternoon, and I just want to say to the community, as the Grand Bahama Christian Council, we have been observing with closeness the incident that took place in regards to the businesses that are owned by the Cooper family in reference to the power company. The situation that is taking place between them and the power company, we're not going to get involved with that specifically. Those matters will be worked out between the parties involved. But one thing we are concerned about is the approach that are being taken by the power company in dealing with very outstanding business leaders in this community, not only as business leaders, but also community leaders and church leaders in this community. After it was brought to our attention that these men were detained, at some point it was communicated to them that they were being arrested after they had made efforts to, and cooperated with the power company and made efforts to resolve the matters in a manner that would be advantageous for all parties involved. We are concerned about the fact that because of the situation that is involved, brought to our understanding that as a result of a business in the community that has been providing a service to the community with a gadget that is used for the purpose of preserving power or saving energy. One of our concerns about the community at large, because it's been brought to our understanding that there are multiplicity of businesses and persons, private citizens that are being using this service that are being provided by a business right here in Grand Bahama. We feel what should have happened, instead of things going the way that they were, we feel what should have happened is that the community would have been made aware of the fact that there was a service being provided in the community that may have been considered illegal. We feel it would have been better for the power company and the authorities involved to communicate to the community that the services that were provided by this business for the purpose of saving energy may have been an illegal practice or being done in a manner that was illegal, at least by the consideration of the power company. That still stands to be proven as fact. And we feel that a warning should have been given to the community so that citizens could have been made aware that they may be participating in something or receiving service from a company or an individual that may be doing something that is untoward. We feel that would have been the better approach, and we still feel that that is the right approach, as there are many persons and businesses in the community that may be using these services totally unaware of the fact that there may be some illegal activities or illegitimate activities involved. And the reason we say that is because we are very concerned about the well-being of our fellow citizens, that all Bahamians are treated with fairness, and I believe that as a Christian council, we feel that it would be unfair to the community that not only the persons and the owners that were involved, but other businesses or residents in our community who have solicited the service of this business and installed these gadgets in their homes, totally unaware of the fact that these devices or gadgets may be installed in a manner that is not legally acceptable, if that is the fact, by the power company or by the state. but that needs to be communicated to the community. I believe that, for our understanding, that persons that are presently using this service have done so with the understanding that there's nothing untoward involved in it. And so I want to say that we are here to encourage the power company and the authorities that if any service is being provided by a business in this community that is considered illegal, that can get business persons or residents in trouble with the law, that it is incumbent upon the authorities that be in the power company, the Royal Bahamas Police Force, to please communicate to the community at large that you need to be aware that such services, whatever they may be, that are being provided by a certain person or company to you as a business person, as a business owner or a resident, that this practice or the selling of these machineries or gadgets is illegal, because I believe outside of that, innocent persons are going to find themselves being arrested, targeted, losing their electricity, and I feel that what has happened so far has been unfair and unjust and cause undue pain and suffering to the persons that are involved. So I think I would, as the president of the Grand Bahama Christian Council, I would like to say to the power company, to the Royal Bahamas Police Force, that if there is a person in our community providing service, selling machinery that is being used in a manner that is illegal, that the citizenry of this island in this country, because it's what our understanding that not only were these instruments service provided here on the island of Grand Bahama, but even in other islands of the Bahamas, that the community should be sensitized in advance before persons are hauled by the police department and arrested or detained or whatever the situation may be. Because we believe, from our understanding, that citizens are innocently using this service and not being aware of the fact that there may be some untoward activities involved. It is our hope that the authorities would deal with the person involved or the business involved that have been providing this service to these companies and residents, so that the rest of this community and business persons will not experience what some of our business persons have experienced already. And so from the Christian Council perspective, we are saying that we feel that the community needs to be better handled in this situation, as we've understood that there are many other persons that have solicited this service with the sincerest intention of reserving energy, cutting down the cost of electricity, which is the goal of every Bahamian, and especially on the island of Grand Bahama, where the cost of energy is so high. And so I feel that this is something that is Bahamians and all of those in authority, we need to pull together and make sure that none of us and any other persons who may have innocently received this service from this company to please communicate to the community, power company, Royal Bahamas Police Force, that if this service is illegal, is untoward, and should not be legally purchased or solicited by anyone in the community, that the community be aware of that, so that we can save any of our other citizens from what some very reputable, upright, and citizens in this country who have served this island for many years, over 40 years, in doing business, in employing close to 500, over 500 persons, who continue and have been a blessing to the economic development of this island. And so we feel it necessary for the protection of other businesses, residents who may be possibly on the edge of going through the same experience, to say to the power company and to the authorities, if there is something taking place, if there is a service being provided to this community that is considered illegal, please make the community aware of the business, of the service, of the person, so that the community can take the necessary steps to protect themselves from experiencing what we feel was not necessary. Secondly, I would like to say to the power company on this situation, we would like to encourage you to make contact with persons who you may know of that are using these services, and try to work with them, because I believe that at large, the people of Grand Bahama, the citizens of Grand Bahama, the business owners of Grand Bahama, in all sincerity, was simply trying to reduce the cost of energy, which is something that all of us will strive to do. And if a business or an individual provided a service that was untoward, they took advantage of a need and of a sincere desire that every one of us would seek to fulfill. And so I want to say that this is our appeal and advice and counsel to the authorities that be, so that we can all work together to eradicate anything that could be taking place in the community that could bring other persons into jeopardy who innocently got involved in simply trying to do better by reserving energy, which is something that persons will continually strive to do once the possibility is there. And so, with that being said, we are continually encouraging all of us as Bahamians to continue to follow the law, to continue to be law-abiding citizens. But for that to take place, we need to be aware of when we are breaking the law, or what law exists, or if something is wrong, we must be aware that it is wrong. And so I think it is the responsibility of the powers that be, that if people are not aware of some wrongdoing taking place, they need to be aware. And also, if some illegal services are being provided and sold to the citizenry should be made aware of that before they are punished for participating.
For persons who do not live in Grand Bahama, they may not understand who the Cooper, Burroughs, and Zimmerman family, who they are. Most of us know their character and their integrity. You would know that as well, very well. Can you speak a little bit about their character and the fact that they have been leaders in the business community for almost 40 years?
But when we talk about the Cooper family and their contribution to the development of Grand Bahama, this family has been in this community for over 50 years, not only as businessmen, many of them are also pastors and ministers in their churches. Over the years, many of us, and I think the majority of us on the island of Grand Bahama, found them to be persons of integrity and upright persons who be law-abiding citizens, who have provided employment for many persons, hundreds of persons, if not thousands of persons over the years on the island of Grand Bahama, and is an economic and social asset to this community, and I believe will continue to be. And so on that merit, of course, as fellow ministers, we show them our support on the situation itself. We are not involved in the situation itself, but at the same time, we are concerned about fairness, justice for everyone, no matter who they are, whether they're affluent or not, wealthy or not, businessmen or not, because we also understand that what happens to one person can happen to all. And so, and it just highlights sometimes how things can take place, and sometimes innocent persons can find themselves being handled in a way that is unjust and unfair. And so I think this gives us an opportunity to encourage all persons that are part of this community that when there are situations such as this, and this is a unique one, that we need to handle it with care and make sure that all of our decisions is done in a manner that is fair and just, especially when citizens may be totally unaware of whether it's a scam or they've been taken in some way. Then I think things need to be handled appropriately.
With, close to 500 persons, I mean, possibly being on the line, depending on how this plays out. Do you think the government should step in and try to mediate so that there's a conversation between this family and the Grand Bahama Power Company instead of it going to the Royal Palm State?
Well, this is what I would say to this part of it, with the businesses that may, powers are turned off, cannot of course exist in that condition for a long time. I make this appeal not on behalf of the employers, but the employees, these over 500 persons that are depending on these businesses, the operation of these businesses for a living. I would say to the power company, while you and the owners are working out this situation, they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to be right here. Their businesses are here. That you would allow their businesses to continue to operate with power so that they can continue to operate, make money, pay their employees, who in turn these employees would continue to be able to take care of their families, meet their day-to-day obligations. And in that way, the power company will be assisting the economic well-being of this community and also hundreds of persons. Because I believe that from talking to the parties involved and also trust in the power company, that everyone wants the well-being of our fellow Bahamians, especially those that depend on jobs and weekly salaries, to be able to still function. And so I would make that appeal to the power company to restore power to these businesses so that they can continue to function as they work out whatever discrepancies exist between them and the parties involved.
Okay.
I just stop for a minute.
Stay there, 'cause-
Stay there for a minute and
yeah.
kind of like look around each other.